excited. I'm starting yoga teacher training today. It's going to be the welcome meeting Zoom at around 3 p.m. so we can meet the teachers and ask any questions that we may have about the course ahead of it starting properly on Monday. It's definitely not the circumstances I would have wanted to do it in, and I'm going to have like a job in my hands making this vlog like interesting because I'm essentially rolling out of my bed and into the spare room to practice yoga. Just waiting for the welcome session to start. Day one! Waking up in cold, not goer, but that's okay. Hey guys, it's day 2 of yoga teacher training. It's about 8:25 a.m. and I don't have a live session until 10:30. It's going to be an alignment and adjustments class for Ashtanga, which is great because I have a lot of questions. I've never really done the Ashtanga style before, and there's certain positions that definitely felt uncomfortable, especially on my joints and my knees, and professional dancer, I don't really tend to have problems with my knees, so I just want to know what the deal is.
Like this. Protraction, you're spreading across the upper back, and then you also want to have the shoulders in a depressed position.
So the course is definitely like intense, and it's a lot of information to take in, because you're not just studying the physical practice of yoga itself. It's like the philosophy and going deep into the history of it. There's a lot of Sanskrit, which sounds like gobbledygook when you're first doing it. Sort of soaking as much as you can alongside the physical practice, the pranayama, which is breath work, and the meditation. We needed to just get out and clear my head. I've done a lot today. The one thing that I will say specifically in relation to this being an online course as opposed to doing it in person is that obviously there isn't the social aspect. Usually I guess you'd meet a lot of people and they would sort of guide you and help you form ideas, and you can practice on each other. Like, it's quite hard to not feel quite lonely doing it in this way, especially because it's quite intense and dense. I'm trying to deal with that as best I can. I'm sort of missing people because I don't think I've ever really had a learning experience where I haven't been surrounded by people to swap notes with or anything like that. So that in itself is a little bit of a challenge, and it's very specific to this being done during lockdown as well, because even in a normal England I could meet up with friends I have who do yoga and get ideas and notes and stuff. So this is like a very specific lockdown problem, but it's a growing experience. Do the Ashtanga practice. I've been doing this every morning. It's recommended. It's not I mean, we're not watching you if you don't know, but it's in our best interest to know it as best as we can, because the more of the poses we can do, the more that we can teach. So it makes sense, right? So I've been doing it every morning. It hasn't become less challenging yet, but it is easier knowing what's coming next. You can mentally prepare yourself. And the practice is recommended to be done on an empty stomach, which is trying, because I love breakfast. It says a lot of yellow today. But we're in lockdown, we're not trying to make a fashion statement, alright guys? Hey, so thought I'd give you a quick update on day 4 of how things are going and how I'm finding the course and everything. So I've had a couple of questions from friends and stuff who know I'm doing the course, and have seen that the practice that I'm doing is Ashtanga, so it's quite intense, and even the vinyasa flows that we're being given to do, it's definitely like an intermediate to advanced practice, and the classes are long. They're usually about an hour and a half long, which obviously is a lot for people who are just regular people with lives. But our reason for doing this sort of style of advanced yoga within this course, from what I can gather, is that we need to be able to do as much as we can in order to teach what we want. It makes sense that obviously the more poses that we know and master, the more that we can teach them and sort of widen our range of practice. And so for going forward after this, I guess due to lockdown and everything, my teaching possibilities in person in the immediate future are quite limited, because studios may not open for a while. Even when they do, it may be a limited staff. So my idea the idea going into this was to go straight onto YouTube, onto Zoom and onto Instagram, and remotely teach online. Obviously with those I will be teaching more of like all levels classes, or beginners classes that are accessible for everybody. But that said, if ever I was called on to teach an advanced class, or if in a practice I want to give out advanced modifications for those that maybe are ready to go to the next level, I want to be able to do that. So that's why the practices are quite intense. There's certain things I'm finding quite difficult in my body that are maybe solely down to the fact that I've never done them before, particularly like lotus-based positions. I got into yoga via YouTube myself when I was going through a bit of a rough time, and I was doing that for about 2 years before I ever ended up taking a class in person, at which point I had the foundation solid enough that I could do harder classes, like I was finding at my studio in Manchester, a really lovely studio called Yoga Soul, which is still my favourite place to practice. And they showed me what I was really capable of in terms of not pushing, but like finding potential in my mobility and what I was capable of, and in my strength as well, because it's not just about flexibility, it's very much about, there's no point having flexibility without the strength, and I think yoga really teaches that. So yeah, it's challenging, but I understand why it's challenging and why it has to be. And I think people from the outside might look in and go, what's the point in you learning such advanced yoga when that's not what you're going to be teaching? But I definitely understand it. It basically gives me scope to work more. I've been practicing my chanting. I've had to write it down. I'm such a child. I need to have everything in colours so that I will retain it better. I'm sure there's like a scientific reason for this. I've written out the Ashtanga opening chant because, as you will maybe have seen already in this video, day 1, trying to repeat it was really interesting. Absolutely butchering some really sacred Sanskrit spiritual texts. So it's all here. I will know it in the next couple of days. Yes, you will, Geraldine. And that's been the work I've done so far today. started out as quite a lovely morning for day 5 has gone quite quickly downhill today. This course obviously relies a lot on internet connection. The entire thing is online. My internet connection is dropping out, doesn't work. A bit stressed because I have a Zoom session coming up, a yoga philosophy one, which is like 2 hours long, and I would love to attend it. I like to attend all of my Zoom sessions if I can. I'll be really upset if I can't. I'm really hoping the internet writes itself for then. Whew, a bit wound up. I guess if you want a downside to this course, you get it. I'm just going to sit with my study guide, and I think actually I'm going to start with some breathing techniques because I have the impression that I need them. It's all good, it's going to be fine, but a little bit stressed right now. Good morning, guys. So it is technically a day off because it's Sunday, and if we were following the Indian timetable, if we were doing this in person in Goa, Sunday is the day of rest. Yesterday I did quickly think up a flow and trying to get used to making up flows because I haven't really done it prior to this. I watch a lot of YouTube, and then I have a subscription with Alloy Moves, which I really love, so I'm used to watching and following guided yoga flows. I'm not used to making it my own, and obviously it's something I'm going to have to do a lot of. So I've been practicing doing that, and I've made up one which I quite like, so I'm going to try out now, try it for time, because our final assessment needs to be about 20 to 30 minutes long. So I'm going to try that, just see how I fare with the timekeeping of it. I'm going to practice doing that. I'm probably going to feel really awkward watching it back. I've never watched myself cueing a yoga flow before, but I again better get used to it. So I'm going to try that now. Sunday! Okay, so here's the flow written down. I haven't written down the Sanskrit names just yet because I'm not overly familiar with them. Just below your shoulders, really spread your fingers out, really pressing your finger pads into the ground. Take up space. You're going to breathe in, drop the belly, and lift your head. Inhale. And exhale, arch the spine, navel to spine, shine your shoulders to the sky. Good morning, it's about 7:30. We're on week 2, day 2. I've been establishing some new sort of habits for the training. So I get up at 7:30, I do 15 minutes of pranayama, breathing exercises, before going straight into my Ashtanga practice, and then I have breakfast. So that's what I'm doing today. I am wearing Christmas pajamas. Yes, I understand that it is June.
But the way that we think about vinyasa on a broader scale in terms of what it means, it's breath synchronized with movement. So it has come to meet together asanas in this way. So before that, and even now still, there's definitely different ways of practicing it.
So today is, I've lost track, it's day 3 of week 2, and my body feels a bit poop. So as I said yesterday, I'm probably going to take a break from the Ashtanga this morning. I'm going to do just a lovely twisty vinyasa flow that's within our programme as well. You get given different flows just for the purpose of maybe taking inspiration from them or just practicing vinyasa. And this is a really nice one, and it's only an hour, which is great because I'm starving. Really arrive here, let your body sink into the ground. If your bum doesn't touch your heels, it doesn't matter. So today is like revision central because I've got to a point now where I have quite a lot of knowledge, but for me, it's sort of the retention of the details that I struggle with. So, I mean, I've repurposed what was actually a really lovely sketch pad that I wasn't using into a flashcard pad. So I've got all of like my anatomy notes here. I've just had my dad test me. And for me, like, I'm quite a visual person. It's nice to have the colours and stuff. It just helps me remember things better. I think you got to know what kind of learner you are. And right now, I've done sort of the most anatomy my brain will take for now. I'm trying to do it in sections. And I'm on to philosophy. So I've just been chanting this to myself like a little mad woman in my room. This 8 limbs situation, and hopefully it's going to go in. I mean, that's the idea. I'll let you know if it works. Good morning, everyone. So it's Friday of week 2 of yoga teacher training. It's been a really productive week. It's been really good. I feel like I've been very on it. I felt physically fatigued by the practice, so it's the age-old thing, like if somebody tells you to do something that you really love and that you have to do it for a certain amount of time every day, or like a certain amount of times per week, it suddenly takes the joy out of it. So obviously I still love yoga and I'm very happy to be doing this, but at the same time, like, never before have I had to be dragged to my mat the way that I've had to in the last couple of days. Will be the first time that I do the Ashtanga practice without a video as guidance. So I have cheat sheets, these things here, which gives you all of the poses. The only thing that it doesn't do that it's going to test my memory is sort of tell you how many breaths to take and which of these have like a vinyasa break between them, all of that sort of thing. So it's definitely going to be interesting to test my own memory. I'm going to be trying to say the Sanskrit names of the poses, at least for the first bit of the standing series, just because I'll be honest, that's something that I've been slacking on. I haven't really been practicing the Sanskrit for stuff. Good morning, guys. It is Monday on the last week of yoga teacher training, well, last full week anyway, and I've finished my breath work and my Ashtanga practice for the morning. It's about 9 o'clock, so I'm going to go get some breakfast. I'm obviously wanting to be super productive this week because it's the last full week I have of lectures and all that good stuff. I'm also going to be looking at locations around the house that I can use for YouTube filming for the YouTube side of my yoga business, which I'm super excited about. So I'm going to pull some sofas out and just try and figure out what's like a nice airy space, because this spare room is it's just a bit gross. It's been great as like a functional space just for me to have space to train, but there's a bit of mold on the walls. It's a bit gross and it needs some work, so I'd rather go into a place that looks clean and bright. So I'm going to do that today. Hey guys, so I'm going to let you know what goes on behind the scenes of trying to set up a filming space for yoga. So from this angle, doesn't it look lovely? Very calm, very peaceful. So I'm going to show you guys the bedlam of what happened behind the scenes. This is actually a completely overstuffed room. There's too much stuff in here, as you can tell. Why is there 2 sofas? It's just me and my dad that live here. Just such a mess. Today's been a really good day. It's been ever so slightly stressful, but in like good ways, if it's possible for stress to be a good thing. It's just sort of teething problems of figuring out a filming space, of figuring out what I want it to look like. I've got limitations. I'm filming on my phone with a really small tripod.
my dad has managed to completely overstuff this room full of furniture, so I've had to practically dismantle the room. But I got a space that I was really happy with in the end. The room has beautiful acoustics, beautiful light, so I'm excited to be filming more in this space. And I'm so ready to get started. I'm ready to be qualified and ready to just share what I want to share with you guys. So this is going to be great. And I did some promo shots today just to advertise my yoga classes and advertise my channel and stuff. So that's been a bit of self-time, imagine, which is always, it makes you cringe a little bit, but it has to be done. So I got some stuff I was really happy with there as well. And my lovely partner did some editing for me, so it doesn't look like it's straight out of an iPhone, which is great. Everything's taken longer than it was meant to, so it's now like, what, 6:30 in the evening, and I don't know where the day's gone. Now I have to put the living room back together, which I'm not looking forward to. But again, it's got to be done. See you guys, I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Hey guys, so we're on Wednesday. For last week, I've been doing a lot of Zoom teaching with different groups of like my friends and just general people in my life. Anybody who wants a free yoga class, I'm like, please let me teach you. Just because I feel it's important to get the practice with real people, which is definitely something missing from doing this online. It's totally normal, but we've got to find ways around it. We've got to get creative. So the course closed yesterday. So now we have 10 days to get our poop together and send in our final assessments and our written exams. So I'd already filmed my final assessment last week with my dad. I think there's probably going to be a little clip in here of that. And I'm going to do my written exam today. So I'm just trying to cram in as much as I can. I feel like I'm pretty good on my knowledge now. The perks of not having a job or any responsibilities during lockdown is that I have had so much time to revise and just cram it all in. So I got to the point now where I feel quite ready. It's just the philosophy stuff, like I really struggle to keep that in my brain, and it's beautiful stuff that you're learning, but it's very vague and also incredibly specific at the same time. It's so many concepts and they're all relatively similar and also completely different, so trying to hold those within your brain, and then the fact that a lot of it is in like a different language as well, it's like whoa. And try to grab the left foot. Wonderful, great job. Really gripping through the tops of your feet. Make your feet super active here so they can be flexed here, and then you're going to push on your next inhale. Push those feet into the hands, aiming to get the knees off the ground, being proud of where you are at today. Really pushing. Inhale and exhale. So great news, I found out yesterday that on top of having passed the written exam, I've also passed my final practical exam too. So that's it. That's both components done. Therefore, I am a yoga teacher. I'm just waiting to get my certification, which should come through in a couple of days. And so excited and so happy. It means that I can start pushing content out there and start just teaching and just enjoying the journey. So thank you for watching my vlog. Like really thank you if you've managed to get this far. I hope that there was some things of interest in there for you, and I'll see you on the mat. Bye.